Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with jazz singer Yaala Ballin on the 2024 CD Symphony Song Swing. This 4-song EP is a taste of the sounds of her concert, and it highlights a selection of jazz standards, and each one has a unique style and sound. We cover the construction of this new work, live shows coming up, and so much more. This is a return to the show, and we are delighted to have her back. Take this interview.
Hey, it's so great to catch up with you. Thank you for reaching out to the show. I've really enjoyed the new material, and I want to dig into it. But before we do that, we caught up in 2021 while the pandemic was pretty much raging. Now we're out of it. You have new material. We all survived. So my question is, how did this pandemic change you, and how does it feel to have new material out now?
Wow. Yeah, that was a really crazy period of time where I think for myself and for, I guess, all musicians and artists, we kind of felt like, when are we going to get back to our lives? When are we going to get back to performing and seeing people and performing live for people and traveling? It was really difficult, but it seems like things opened up pretty quickly. For me, it was just this crave to be on stage again, to travel again, to work with different people, and to get, new music out as soon as possible, to just get back at it.
So talk to me about the new material. How did this come about? Was it kind of born out of living through the pandemic, Symphony Song Swing, or kind of what was the creative forces that went into it?
Right. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, actually is connected to the pandemic. So the project Symphony Song Swing started back in 2017. And our premiere performance, which I'll talk about again a little later, was in Armenia, from all places, at the Opera House in Yerevan. And it was with a full symphony orchestra. And the project was kind of born because I grew up to classical music. Classical music was always around, and my siblings are playing music, and my mom was a musician in her youth. And I was the one who kind of brought jazz to the family. And I always wanted to go back to those classical music roots. So Symphony Song Swing was born from that I wanted to bring my passion for the Great American Songbook into the symphonic setting. So I kind of took as inspirations Lady in Satin, the Billie Holiday amazing album that came out right before she passed away, and The Bird with Strings, Charlie Parker with Strings, which has all these different arrangements with colors and timbres and rhythms. And I kind of mixed them up. I called 3 dear friends, and I commissioned them to write original arrangements to, some of my favorite jazz standards. So we started in 2017 with a full orchestra, like 40 musicians. It was unbelievable. And I was able to get a little more, a few more concerts after that. I think the last one was at the end of 2019, and then Corona happened. So COVID happened and kind of blocked all my options. I had some concerts canceled. I had to cancel with some orchestras, and, orchestras are so hard to book in advance. I mean, they book like 2 years in advance. So when COVID let up a little bit, that was the first thing I wanted to get back into. So I was able to, the first thing I did was I commissioned the same friends to make the arrangements smaller for a chamber orchestra. I realized it will be easier, it will be more feasible to travel. Once we did that, the sky was the limit. I brought it to Israel, I brought it to Italy, we did it in Cyprus, we did it in Brooklyn. And finally last year, I said, after all these concerts live, it's time to go into the studio. So March 8th, 2023, International Women's Day, I went to the studio and we did our thing, and it's finally out there.
So talk to me a little bit about what you're hoping the listener, the audience, gets from this project.
So I really believe that this unique project can bring so many different audiences together because, even though it's a jazz concert in material, the sounds of the orchestra, the arrangements, it brings all the beautiful timbres of the instruments, can really be also appealing for a different audience, for the classical music audience. It's a very diverse concert, and the songs I chose to present this time, we did a short EP, so we have 4 tracks, is really bringing the different unique sounds of the songs, and as I said, of the orchestra. So we have Night and Day, which brings a Latin feel and the swing feel. We have the beautiful ballad, You've Changed, inspired by Billie Holiday, and a great swing tune, That's All, which is not done very often, and kind of shows how the orchestra can really swing, how these classical instruments, quote unquote, can really swing. So I'm hoping to gain, more audience, different audience, and to be able to bring this concert to many, many more places with many, many more orchestras.
So speaking of concerts, talk to me a little bit about the warm months are upon us. What are you doing for promoting live shows? What's coming up for you?
I'm in touch with a few different orchestras. Nothing is set yet. You can always check my website, yaalaballin.com. I'm happy the recording is out. I feel like it's easier for me to promote it now and work on booking right now, but there's nothing concrete at the moment. I will say that I'm working on producing vinyl records, which is the new hip thing, and the plan is to have one side the new recording, so the EP that was recorded last year, and the other side of the vinyl will be actually the recording, the original one, with the full-size orchestra, symphony orchestra from 2017, live in Armenia. That will be like an extra bonus for the listeners. So I'm hoping that will be done by June, this coming June.
Yaala, it's so great to catch back up with you. Thank you for presenting this brand new project. Best of luck with everything.
Thank you so much for your support.
Thanks for listening and tuning into another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players and minds in New York, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Yaala for coming on back to Neon Jazz. If you want to hear more Neon Jazz interviews, you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to us at YouTube, and for everything Neon Jazz, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends. Hey Jazz fans, Joe Domino here, the host of the weekly Neon Jazz radio show and regular interview series being produced and distributed from Lee Summit, Missouri. We are quite excited to let you know about the first annual Lee Summit Jazz Fest taking place this summer on June 22nd, 2024 at the Bridge Space located at 210 Southwest Market Street. There will be 8 robust acts, including the Back Alley Brass Band and the great Lee Summit Jazz Orchestra. There will also be art vendors and food trucks to make this a must-attend event. All details can be found at www.bridgespace.us/jazz. We will see you there.
Neon Jazz.